So I observed that in my last video there was a little misunderstanding in the comment section. People had different opinions about setting boundaries and defining relationship. So in this video I'm going to be talking about setting boundaries and defining relationships. So if that's what you're interested in, keep watching. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. So in today's video, like I said, we're going to be talking about setting boundaries in relationship with the opposite sex, and I'm going to be sharing my story of when I was in a situationship. So yeah, growing up, I believed myself, or I saw myself as emotionally intelligent. I could set boundaries, and I know what I wanted with the opposite sex, and I was able to work with that. But nobody would have known that I would end up in a situationship. But I did. So I'm going to share my story. I hope it blesses you. So as I share the story, I'm going to be drawing lessons that I hope would help you in your relationship and interaction with the opposite sex. So this person and I started as friends. Of course, that's what it always starts as. So we're friends and we used to talk. It started from talking, hello, how are you doing, and before you know it graduated into talking for a long period without boundaries. Sometimes we could go as far as talking the whole day. Of course, with breaks like I just went to eat, or I'm eating right now, or I want to go and take my bath, and it just continued for a very long time. And that brings me to the first thing I'm going to be talking about: communication boundaries. It's good to talk to the opposite sex. In fact, I tell people that are probably not or should not be ready for relationships, that rather than go into relationships, you can just have friends that you can talk to, be there for you and all that. I tell them that I believe that there's nothing you want in that relationship that you cannot get in friendship with the opposite sex, because of course there's nothing romantic happening in friendship, and you don't need it for now. That's for people that are not in that age range yet. So yeah, I knew that and I wanted to work with that. So I had that person as my friend, and we didn't set boundaries I did not set boundaries as per communication. We were talking a lot, morning, afternoon, night, talking all day, all week, all night long, and it can be very dangerous, because from there emotions begin to grow. Relationship thrives on communication. So communication is like number one important thing, even for people that are already in a relationship. So the more you communicate with someone, the more you grow attached, the more you start to like them, and before you know it, emotions will develop. And that brings me to the next thing I'm going to be talking about: emotional boundary. So talking to him, we used to talk like for a long time, and before you know it, I started to like him. And it was bad because I did not agree, I did not admit it to myself that I was actually liking him. I just kept telling myself, blessing, you're emotionally intelligent, you're a strong woman, you don't do feelings, you don't do crush and all that. So I lied to myself, did I say, or I just did not sit down to tell myself the truth. So emotions started to creep in, and I started to like him. And then we had this exclusivity. I call it exclusivity because it's we started to tell each other things that we normally would not tell other people. So it was like my best friend. I think there were times I even called him my best friend, and I was like his too. I knew a lot of things about him. In fact, you could wake me up and say, tell me so person's thing, and I would just tell you right there. Like, I knew a lot of things about him, he knew a lot of things about me. Whenever I'm going through anything, he's always like the first person that comes to my mind to talk to. And then I kept telling myself that it's because he's spiritual, he can pray for me, he can advise me, give me the words that I need to learn and all that. But I wish I took time to ask myself some very important questions. Then I would have been able to understand that, okay, I think feelings is now involved, which is something we must do. At every point in time, we might get into friendship with the opposite sex, and before you know it, we have crossed the boundaries. You cannot tell your heart who to love, or you cannot tell your heart what to do. So sometimes it happens without your consent. You need to sit yourself down and be able to tell yourself the truth, that okay, this is where we are now. Do we want to go forward? Or is it time for us to define the relationship, which is something I really failed to do. So along the line, we started talking about some things that are personal, should be personal. Things like, okay, what's your ideal man? How many children would you love to have? What is this and what is that? Before we started discussing family, and it was giving me ideas. I was having ideas. I was building castles in my head that last this is the person I'm just going to marry when the time comes. You know, I was having such thoughts, and I don't know, I felt it was mutual, which is something that well, I'll not really go into details about that. There's really no details to go into anyways, but I felt it was mutual. So emotional boundaries, very very important. You tell yourself the truth. There's no way you can set boundaries emotionally if you don't know when you have even crossed the line. So before you cross the line, you should be able to tell that, oh, okay, it's like I'm liking this person. There are some certain questions you need to ask yourself and truthfully answer. They can help you to know the state you are in with a particular, you know, friendship with the opposite sex, and you can know when to draw back or when not to draw back. And most of the time, it's not even that. It might be that you actually like the person, but it's good you know what you want. That, do I want to pursue a relationship with this person, or it's just friendship? So if it's just friendship, you know that, okay, I need to set boundaries. We need to reduce the way we talk. We need to reduce the way we communicate, so that the emotions, you know, will not grow stronger. Because the more you talk, the person you are liking, and you get to talk to them every day, it keeps getting stronger and stronger, you know. So one thing I failed to do is to define my relationship at that point. Like, what are we doing? Because at that point, I can't even explain what we're doing. I just know that we're friends. And we're more than friends, actually. We're like really close, you know. We're accountable to each other, which is good. But then it was like we're exclusively accountable to each other. And I started to, you know, believe that something more would come out of the friendship. And to my greatest surprise, it was very shocking when I discovered that this brother had somebody else he would love to go into a relationship with. I mean, I was so shocked and confused. Like, how did we get here? This is me. You talk to me more than this person you even claim to like. You like, I know things about you more than this person. I know you more than this person. So where is the, oh, this is the person I want to get married to, you know, talk coming from? So apparently it was probably no mutual. I was seeing the relationship another way, and he was seeing me as maybe a best friend or whatever. Another issue we really need to talk about is this best friends between the opposite sex. Do you really think that you can have the opposite sex as your best friend without feelings, you know, being involved? I want to hear what you think in the comment section. Maybe we'll make an entire video about that. So yeah, that moves me to the next boundary I'm going to be talking about, which is the physical boundary. I'm grateful to God that we did not have any form of physical, we did not overstep our boundaries when it comes to the physical. When it comes to, oh my God, we don't overstep our boundaries when it comes to physical now. Yes, we still had boundaries in that, you know, aspect, and it was very good. But there are a lot of people that in their relationship with the opposite sex, they don't know where to draw the line. See, let me even tell you another story. So there was this person that a friend of mine introduced me to, and then we just took him in like a brother, like a little brother. Not like a little brother, of course. He was like few years younger than us, or some months younger than us. So we just took him in, and it happened at the time that my friend was like around, so the person could freely come around, you know, talk to us, we eat together, pray together, have devotion together, and that was how the whole thing started. And then he started to sleep over. It was not really a problem, which that's the point I should have, you know, set the boundary. But I felt it was not really a problem since my friend was around. In fact, at different points, other people were around. So it was not just the three of us. We were like 4 people in the room. So it wasn't a problem. But it became a problem when it continued even after my friend left. Of course, there was nothing happening at that point. We're just, you know, he would just come over, we'll talk all through the night, wake up and pray and do all that. But I knew that there was a problem when I started to, you know, hide. Whenever it was time for him to leave, I would have to, you know, go out first, check if there was no neighbor around. At that point, I was an executive in a fellowship, so there was nothing happening really. But then I was concerned about what people would think, which is very, very important. So you might feel there's nothing wrong with holding hands, there's nothing wrong with showing some form of physical display in public, but you are a child of God, you are a light to the world, and people are looking at you. It was very bad then because my housemate was even a Muslim, and I knew that she would never even do that. So at that point, I knew that blessing, something is going on that you need to, you know, stop. At that point, I could not help it because it was happening. I enjoyed having him around and all that. There was nothing happening, but I just enjoyed, you know, the company and all that. I knew that I needed to put an end to it. So what I did was to report myself to people that could caution me. I just chatted up like a number of people. This is what is happening. This is what has been happening. I'm intentionally just telling you so I'll be accountable. And then I had people to account. So whenever, you know, it's getting late, I'm quick to say, please, you need to start going, because I knew there were people I needed to give accounts to and all that. So it really helped me in the relationship. Apparently, it now turned out that to me, nothing was happening, but to him, a lot of things were happening in his head, happening in his heart, happening in his mind. So you never can tell. To one party, it might just be, we're just being friends. You know, the hug means nothing. This means, I don't know. I don't want to start mentioning things so people don't take it as, okay, this is a standard. So to you, it might mean nothing, but to the other person, you don't know what is going on in their heads. So you might want to have a physical boundary for yourself that this is how far I go with the opposite sex. Especially with somebody you're already getting close to. You might want to say, okay, this is where it stops with me, and nothing will make me draw that line. Because what I've noticed that as believers, comparing ourselves, say, I saw these people arguing, I saw these people doing this, I saw them doing this, and there's nothing going on, and then you want to set that standard because of what you have seen from other people. It causes a lot of hurt in the body of Christ. Because people are quick to say, this is what this person is doing and I'm following them as they follow Christ. You don't know how their own personal control is. You don't know the amount of self-control they have. So you have to sit yourself down and say, this is how far for me with the opposite sex. This is how far I go with the opposite sex. It is very, very important. So I've mentioned communication boundary, which is like the major thing in this our world, where it is easy for you to chat with somebody like from morning to night. You're on the phone talking to them, you're chatting with them, and it gets even interesting when you get to chat on different platforms. You're chatting, you move from WhatsApp to Telegram to Instagram, you're talking to the same person all around. The person knows everything about you. You need to sit yourself down and ask some certain questions. And then emotional boundaries and physical boundaries. So I'm going to be talking about the issue of defining your relationship with the opposite sex. See, there's no way you can define your relationship with opposite sex if you don't sit yourself down and answer some questions truthfully. We know when something is getting extra. We know when communication is getting extra, when the calls are getting extra, the chats are getting extra. If you will not tell yourself the truth, then there's no way you will define the relationship, because you keep lying to yourself that it's just friendship. So after you have told yourself the truth and you know that this is getting extra, you need to ask yourself some certain questions. Am I ready to, have more than friendship with this person? If your answer is no, then at that point you need to sit yourself down and set your boundary, and then sit the person down. See, there's nothing, I repeat, there's nothing wrong with defining your relationship with the opposite sex. If you sit them down and say, this is our relationship, this is our friendship, what are your intentions for the friendship? Because I noticed that we're getting too close on all that. And they see it as you maybe pushing something or whatever it is they think. The joke is on them. So don't say because you don't want them to think that you are, getting involved or getting attached. It's better you sit yourself down and you trash it out at that point, than for you to keep saying, I don't want him to be embarrassed, I don't want to be embarrassed, and all that, and you keep pushing it. At the end of the day, you might get hurt, or if you are, I don't know. You people might eventually go into a relationship, but it's good you even sit down and know, so that if the person is already having thoughts, imagine getting answers like, I'm still trying to figure it out, I'm still trying to pray about it. You as the lady, you don't even need to wait until the person comes to you before you make up your mind that, is this person I'm ready to say yes to? Is this someone I'm ready to go into a relationship with? So you might want to sit yourself down and ask those questions, then sit the person down and ask really important questions. See, there's nothing wrong with doing that, really. A lot of people, because of what they have come to see about ladies, that ladies are not supposed to do this, you're not supposed to be the one pushing things, and then you leave a lot of things to, you're expecting the guy. See, it's even not bad when you have already concluded in your heart that the person is going to make their intentions known, and then they now give you the shocker of your life, like I got. And then you get to know that there's somebody else in the picture or something. So guard your heart with all diligence, because out of it flows the issues of life. So guard your heart, sis. Guard your heart, brother. It's not just limited to the to sisters, even brothers. You need to know what you are doing. You need to sit yourself down and define your relationship first with yourself. Then when you notice that the person is not stopping, you need to, especially for brothers, when you know that it's just friendship, define it. Say, we're just being friends, and I just want you to know that. So we know when to set our boundaries, and we know when to stop and put an end to whatever it is that we are doing, and we know when to cut off some extra. It is very, very important. So yeah, that's my situationship story. I got to know that he liked somebody else. I was really hot. Oh my god, I was pained, and I picked myself back up, and I knew that at that point I needed to set stricter boundaries and be sincere with myself. So that helped me in my subsequent relationships with the opposite sex. I could tell when to stop, I could tell when to draw the line, and I also helped people draw the line, in that I'm quick to say, I noticed that we talk a lot these days. There's a lot going on. What's going on? Do you think we should put an end to put a stop, set on some boundaries? See, that conversation I can have it with anybody. Carry fire on your head. I'll have that conversation with you. You're calling me too much. What's going on? Because I've learned from my own personal experience, and I'm sharing this because I don't want you to learn from painful experiences. So yeah, that's my situationship story. I hope it helps somebody out there. I hope it answers your question. So what do you think about defining relationship? Have you ever had to define your relationship with the opposite sex? Let me see in the comment section. I love to read from you people. So please drop your comments down below. And yeah, that brings me to the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel please, and drop your lovely comments below. Thank you. See you in the next one. Bye.